Marco Polo was born in 1254 in Venice, one of the wealthiest and most influential cities of its time. The Polo family was already renowned for its ambitious commercial ventures and connections to the East. Marco's father, Niccolò, and his uncle, Maffeo, were experienced merchants whose stories of faraway lands sparked a spark of curiosity in the young boy. Trade was booming, but crossing the dangerous lands and seas was a daunting challenge. From a young age, Marco displayed a deep curiosity fueled by the stories he heard of exotic lands, rare spices, and treasures of the East. Venice itself was a melting pot of cultures where merchants exchanged goods, knowledge, and stories of their adventures. Marco's imagination was filled with images of silk, gold, and bustling bazaars, and his family's ventures only heightened this fascination. Little did he know that these dreams would soon propel him into the biggest operation of his life. In 1269, Niccolò and Maffeo returned to Venice after a long expedition into the Mongol Empire where they met the great Kublai Khan. They brought back not only riches, but also a message from the Khan inviting them to return with Christian scholars and sacred relics. At the time, Marco was just a teenager eager to join his father and uncle on their next adventure. It was a rare opportunity to witness the mysterious East, a land few Europeans had ever seen. In 1271, Marco Polo, just 17 years old, joined his father and uncle to fulfill Kublai Khan's request. It was a bold decision for one so young, but Marco's adventurous spirit and thirst for knowledge made him a perfect companion. When the trio set off, Marco's life changed forever. The journey east was a monumental undertaking fraught with danger and uncertainty. Marco Polo, accompanied by his father and uncle, traveled the Silk Road, the ancient trade route that connected Europe to Asia. This route was not just a trade route. It was a bridge between civilizations where cultures, religions, and ideas intermingled. However, the road was treacherous, with bandits, extreme weather, and political uncertainty posing constant threats. The Polos crossed diverse terrain from the scorching deserts of Persia to the snow-capped mountains of the Pamirs. Along the way, Marco immersed himself in the cultures they encountered, learning new languages and observing local customs. His keen eye for detail would later become evident in his accounts where he vividly described the people, architecture, and lifestyles of the places they visited. One of the most challenging parts of the journey was crossing the Taklamakan Desert, known as the Sea of Death. This vast expanse of sand and heat tested his endurance and determination. However, Marco's resilience shone through as he adapted to the harsh environment and absorbed the stories of local traders and nomads. It was here that Marco began to understand the vastness and diversity of the world beyond Europe. After years of traveling, the Polos finally arrived at Kublai Khan court in Chengdu, the summer capital of the Mongol Empire. Marco, now in his early 20s, was captivated by the grandeur of the Khan's palace and the sophistication of Mongol society. The Khan himself was impressed by Marco's intellect and curiosity, marking the beginning of a unique relationship that would shape the rest of Marco's journey. Kublai Khan, the ruler of the Mongol Empire, was a man of great ambition and intellect. His empire stretched from China to Eastern Europe, making it one of the largest in history. Marco Polo quickly caught the Khan's attention with his keen observations and ability to learn. The young Venetian soon became a trusted envoy, serving the Khan on numerous missions throughout the empire. For 17 years, Marco traveled throughout the Mongol territories, witnessing wonders that few Europeans could have imagined. He marveled at the advanced infrastructure of cities, like Beijing, the intricate canals, and the use of paper money, a concept unheard of in Europe at the time. Marco's detailed accounts of these innovations would later astound his readers and challenge their perceptions of the world. Marco also described the grandeur of the Khan's court, where he observed lavish banquets, ceremonial rituals, and a diversity of people from different cultures. The Khan's ability to rule such a vast and multicultural empire left a deep impression on Marco. He documented the administrative systems, trade networks, and military strategies that made the Mongol Empire so powerful. Despite the comfort and prestige he enjoyed at court, Marco longed to return to Venice. However, the Khan valued the Polos' expertise and was hesitant to let them go. It was not until 1291, when the Khan needed envoys to escort a Mongol princess to Persia, that Marco and his family were given permission to leave. This mission would mark the beginning of his return to Europe. The return voyage was no less perilous than the expedition to the east. The Polos traveled by sea, facing storms, pirates, and disease. Marco's accounts of this voyage are filled with tales of shipwrecks and narrow escapes, highlighting the challenges of sea travel in the medieval era. Despite these hardships, the Polos successfully delivered the Mongol princess to Persia and continued on to Venice. When Marco finally returned home in 1295, he found a city that had changed in his absence. After 24 years, the Polos were initially unrecognized and even suspected of exaggerating their tales of wealth and adventure. To prove their authenticity, the Polos displayed exotic treasures and rare artifacts from the East, silencing their skeptics. Upon their return, Marco was captured during a naval conflict between Venice and Genoa. While imprisoned, he met a writer named Rustichello da Pisa, to whom he recounted his experiences. These accounts were compiled into the Travels of Marco Polo, a book that would capture the imagination of countless people. The detailed descriptions of Asia's wealth, culture, and innovations inspired explorers such as Christopher Columbus and reshaped Europe's understanding of the world.